Name Everest Cecil Telfer Jr. I got these names from my father, who was the same senior. So I'm my father's son and carry his name. I had five siblings. Two sisters were the first children. They both died tragically just before I was born. And three brothers, including the one who did all this hard work here, who was one of the best friends I have. All my brothers I'm very close to, but he was 2 years older than me, and he guided me a lot in my life in playing sports. If somebody kicked me, it was liable to start a whole battle on field. So he was the first person that tried to convince me to control my wildness. The last one that's trying hard is my wife, without much success. I like being wild. I hate being tamed. I feel like a lion in a cage. I long for the days of just running around chewing up people.
What do you do currently in terms of profession? Your retirement, your specific job. What is your rhythm of your life now?
Well, let's start with that odd word, retirement. I don't know about anything called retire. As for what work I do now, I do a lot of mentoring with youth, and I write poetry, trying to get a publication done with People Tree, send them off some poems. I haven't heard a word from them, but they said it might take months, so I hope I live long enough to hear from them. Apart from all these other things, my favorite passion is dancing, and I'm regularly in Club 51 dancing up a storm. Friends say, but you go to this club alone, who do you dance with? And I say, I never have problem finding women to dance with because I'm not like these young men who want to have sex on a dance floor. I like to dance, not to try and strong women. So I have a great time.
Tell me about the mentor. Oh, sorry.
Your sisters who died, talk about that.
Their names were Monica and Eileen. And actually, on my father's deathbed, his very last words were to my mom, whose name was Ivy. He said, Ivy, I never got over Monica and Eileen. Last words. And I still feel his pain to this day. I was very, very close to my dad. Both parents, as a matter of fact, and my siblings. But I understand, and it's a terrible thing. I think it's probably one of the most terrible things for a parent to lose a child. I was reading in the newspaper today, a family, the Kisuns, gave their son a BMW for his 21st birthday party. And at 3:30 a.m. this morning, he crashed it and Basil caught up with him. So that was the day's sadness.
You talked about your mentoring now. You mentioned about your brother being that big brother, big mentor. You want to talk about something, talk about that relationship?
Well, I'll start with my two older brothers. The oldest one, Erwin, guided a lot of my reading like my father did. For example, my dad introduced me to books like Dostoevsky's Brother Karamazov, Tolstoy's One Piece, famous classics. And Irwin, who went to, in those days it was called the Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture, It's now the agricultural faculty of UWI. But I used to go up there and spend some time with him. And sometimes when he'd come back home, he worked in Guyana and Suriname for quite long periods in agriculture. And when he came to Trinidad, he'd stay with us. I always enjoyed his company. Very special. This one, Henry, we're all the four boys 2 years different. And he 2 years older than I am, so we were quite close. He introduced me to painting, particularly the period of the French Impressionists, which I love. He got a scholarship to go to l'École des Beaux-Arts in Montreal, and I just love his work. I just absolutely love his work. And I had a special relationship with him regarding his work in that he used to title his paintings 1, 2, 3. So I eventually started giving his work titles, and we were always very close. We played sports together too. In football, he would play center half. In our days in football, it was a very attacking game. You had 5 people in the forward line. Now you have two for the most, sometimes just one solitary person up front and four in the back line. In my day, you had 5 forwards, outside right, inner right, center forward, inside left, left wing, 3.5 line, right half, center half, left half, and 2 backs. I will play right back and Henry played left back because my left foot was just about good enough to stand upon. Uh, we were lucky in that we had some really top people playing for us, people like Conrad Braffett, whose son today is still in football. Conrad was our center half, absolutely brilliant footballer. Daddy Cole. And we won the Northern League competition, which in Port of Spain was the most important competition after the TAFA competition. And a young friend, Daddy Cole, who actually scored the winning goal, he still has the trophy. I begged him to lend it to me for a while. He said, "Boy, why don't you shut up? I scored a goal." Said in love, obviously. So football and cricket, love cricket. Played with a lot of really excellent players. Larry Constantine was one of my heroes. And when I opened a club in London some years later, he was then our High Commissioner. He officiated at my opening, and he brought a lot of incredible people to my club. We remain friends through life. I think he is easily the best all-rounder that Trinidad ever produced in cricket.
You talked about when you said we in terms of football. Give me a context to that. What is was we? Was it a club side Malvern? Was it Queens Park? Was it
Good question. We had a club. The clubhouse was in our home in Woodbrook. It was called Triumph. And it was this club that we won Northern League in. And we used to play fete matches between St. James and the granddad of, or great granddad of this little kid who is here, and father of a great friend of mine, Felipe Noguera. Phil Noguera and I were great friends. He just died recently. And we are very much not just contemporaries, but friends. I, in fact, was some months older than Phil. And he belonged to a club in St. James called Hawks. and we were triumph. And we'd play fet matches between St. James, Woodbrook, Belmont, and sometimes San Fernando Central would come down and play. A fet match in those days, the home team would have drinks, soft drinks, of course, and food and entertain the visitor inside. And you'd usually have a repeat. So you'd play what we call today home and away matches. I love football and cricket and table tennis. We had a table tennis board in our home, and I love playing table tennis. And we'd play down at the Woodbrook Youth Center a lot. People like Taffy Critchlow, Sidney Boog, and some of the top Trinidad top table tennis players were contemporary. Wrestling and boxing were also sports I liked a lot. We had a punching bag hanging from a mango tree and a wrestling mat. So whenever there was any argument, this was my dad, any argument among us, he said, come, 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 come. Put on the gloves or wrestle. We don't know talk here. Work it out. My dad was like that. My mom was also an incredible woman in that when it was dinner time, she didn't just call us to eat. She used to count heads, and as many people were there, whatever we had, we shared it. And this was a great lesson in my life about sharing and companionship and being sociable.
Uh, what were your mom and dad's names, and what did they do in their life?
We'll start with mom. Baba says, treat your mother as God, your father as God, your guru, and the strangers who come into your life. So you're all gods. My mom played the piano right until she died. She used to play Caribbean School of Dance, accompanying dancers. She also played the organ in church, St. Patrick's Church. Well, first St. Teresa's. We lived in Woodbrook, and then St. Patrick's. And for a long time, I was an acolyte. And my mom hoped that I had become a priest. My father told her that was madness. I like women too much. Fact. But I enjoyed my youth tremendously. I had a great time. And when I was growing up, it was very different to today. You had what we call an extended family, in that the community looked after children, you know. And if you did something and an elder was upset, they could immediately discipline you. And you didn't dare go home and complain because you'd got licks for sure. So you just took your discipline in. So the idea that a community raises a child existed in my day with the extended family. Then with the A-bomb, we went into the nuclear family, where the idea was that should a nuclear war happen, everybody stocked up their groceries and goodies, and you had a gun, so if anybody came to interfere with your food, you're allowed to shoot them. That was the nuclear family. Then came the one-parent family, where men just going all about sleeping with women, leaving children all about, don't care, don't look back, don't give a damn, and leave the woman. And usually the women have to find work, can't find work here, go away, leave the child with an aunt or granny or somebody who can't look after them, and send them goodies in a barrel. So we had the barrel children next. Now we have abandoned children. We have children who are brought up by television, and of course, they learn two things from television: violence and pornography. So that's how our children are being brought up now. And it's a scandal. And I think this generation of parents should all be put on a flying saucer and shipped to Lower Slobovia.